Pacific Ocean crashes furiously and relentlessly on a rugged, dry, broken coastline. These waves batter the cliffs like the vanguard of one world violently lashing out against another. Two universes opposed in a gigantic contradiction. Here the Pacific is cold but fertile. The currents that surge along one extreme of the Atacama are immensely rich in life. Massive banks of fish are fed by the nutrients these currents carry. And in turn, these huge agglomerations of fish attract numerous marine hunters. Various species of shark, tuna and dolphin in pursuit of their smaller aquatic neighbors. From nearby coastal settlements, seabirds and seals join in the hunt. And right between these two battling worlds, on a narrow, frothy, wave-beaten strip of land and sea, South American sea lions take advantage of both to enjoy a relatively comfortable life. But, somewhat unexpectedly, this amphibian world continues further inland. The Atacama Desert, with one of its edges lying along this wild coastline, is barely 180 kilometers across at its widest point. And even there, at its furthest from the sea, at an altitude of 3,500 meters, there is also salt water. Lagoons on the high plains are fed by the winter's snows, but they are in fact filled with salt water as a result of ancient marine deposits, lifted up millions of years ago when the Andes Mountains were formed. These saltwater lagoons are in fact the remains of very primitive seas. And some of their inhabitants are almost as old as those seas. Flies, for example. Shore or brine flies are born, live, and indeed flourish in a hypersaline habitat. Flies are a treasure, each one a valuable, nutritious food source in such a hostile and lonely environment. Food is far from abundant here, except in the form of crispy, ready-salted brine flies. The biomass of the flies adds up to several tons, and so they are an essential link in the delicate food chain of the Atacama Desert. The desert is an extreme terrain that tests all living beings' ability to adapt or perish. Only the strongest, the most resilient can survive here. The rare few capable of withstanding the extremes of drought and temperature. Someone always passes all the tests. Fabian's lizard is an exclusive inhabitant of San Pedro de Atacama, a small region of this vast desert. Fabian's lizard is a miraculous reptile. It can tolerate the heat, aridity, and blistering sun, and knows better than anyone how to exploit the scarce food resources. These lizards prowl the banks of the lagoons, where flies gather in their thousands. And although fly catching is no easy task, Fabian's lizards achieve excellent results thanks to their speed and agility. They will jump, chase, and if necessary, walk on water to get a meal. Their very existence depends directly on these flies. Fabian's lizards inhabit the narrow strips of land near the lagoons, and males enthusiastically defend their small territories. Duels between landowners are constant. They approach each other, inflating themselves in a display of dominance. If they feel secure in their forces, whilst considering their rival equally powerful, they will settle for a battle of poses, a staring match, a bout of shadow fighting. But after so much tension, in the end, the fly past of a potential meal is enough to induce a truce. Each male returns to his respective territory until the arrival of a daring, provocative female piques their interest again. Female Fabian's lizards have no concept of the male's supposed territorial borders, and they are an object of permanent desire. When the females are receptive, their suggestive, sinuous dance excites the males. And yet, despite the intensity of the wooing, it seems that it is not yet the time for copulation. And once again, an airborne snack is enough to end the encounter. After all, food is food. Fabian's lizards are not the only hunters on these salty plains. There are other predators interested in flying nutrition. Recently arrived from marine environments, some birds acclimatized to this unforgiving hell. Andean avocets sieve the water near the surface in order to capture insects with their curved bills. Stilt sandpipers peck here and there in search for almost invisible animals. And rapid Puna plovers run along the shore like so many urgent wind-up toys. From infancy, the little plovers can move very quickly. Under the protective watch of their parents, they patrol the banks of the lagoons. Thanks to their extraordinarily keen eyesight, the plovers can detect the smallest movement that may reveal the whereabouts of something edible. And almost as soon as they hatch, they know how to catch the elusive but nutritive flies. The salt flats of the Atacama Desert, a very extreme ecosystem with an abundance of salt and widely varying temperatures, are unexpectedly thronging with life. Andean flamingos live here, and only here. These are their preferred lagoons, located at an altitude of 2,000 meters. This extremely inhospitable place is home sweet and unique home for this flamingo species. For hours at a time, mechanically repeating the process under the unforgiving sun, the flamingos stir up the muddy lagoon bed with their feet and filter algae and crustaceans out of the turbid water with their specialized bills. But suddenly, everything changes. Food is no longer of any concern. Something in the atmosphere and in their own bodies takes precedence over food. Hormones and the need to reproduce take control of the situation. As they glance at each other, the flamingos start to move their necks in time. Whatever flamingos do, it's always in their community. They travel, come into heat, reproduce together as a whole colony at the same time. In a question of seconds, an extraordinarily synchronized communal choreography is underway. For a few brief minutes, the salty lagoons of the Atacama Desert become the shimmering stage for an amazingly beautiful dance. And then, just as suddenly as it began, it's over. The outburst of passion is forgotten almost without transition, and they calmly go back to eating, as if nothing has happened. The salty lagoons in the heart of Atacama, where Andean flamingos dance in the middle of the mountains that give them their name, are the ancient traces of long-gone seas. The Atacama, the driest desert on Earth, is barely 180 kilometers wide, but it extends from north to south over 1,600 kilometers and has a surface area the size of Iceland. In the vast desert of Atacama, there are even loftier lagoons at almost 4,000 meters. It is there that horned coots build their floating nests. It's hard work, but the coots are industrious and somewhat aggressively defensive. They will not allow anyone to get close to a new nest. Not even an audacious seagull, keen on squatting. Living at such high altitude, with very little water, the temperatures ranging from 25 below zero at night to 30 above during the day, is not for the faint-hearted. In such an extreme environment, life is feasible for very few creatures. Vicuñas are one such creature. As a camel, it knows what it means to be resilient to drought, cold and heat. Vicuñas are the smallest camels on Earth and have a light, elegant bearing with their long necks and slim legs. Something about them perhaps even reminiscent of their long-legged pink neighbors. Their survival kit for extreme situations includes their clothing. The wool of vicuñas is especially designed for life in the Puna region at between 3,500 and 4,500 meters of altitude. Their coat is made of wool with the finest fibers in the world. This makes it dense and impermeable, and it insulates them from freezing winds and rain. And yet, despite their adaptations to this harsh environment, vicuñas, unlike other camels, must drink every day, so they generally live near the streams or ponds of Puna. The Puna is a high semi-desert region of Atacama, which vicuñas inhabit with other rare large animals, such as the ñandú, or Darwin's rare. Ñandú and vicuñas share various food sources, usually peacefully. But vicuñas are curious creatures, and perhaps a little more so than the ñandú care for. The young vicuña's curiosity puts the ñandú family on its guard, and they have no other choice but to retreat to safety under their father's wings. Only after the danger has passed does the family continue with the most pressing activity of the day, looking for sustenance among the sparse vegetation of the desert. The wide expanse of the Atacama Desert, from the coast on one extreme to the heart of the Andes on the other, has many different faces. Snowy peaks, volcanoes, sandy regions, dunes and bare rocks. Each of these environments offers different possibilities and challenges to be colonized. Even colorful, noisy flocks of burrowing parrots can find a place to call home in these arid neighborhoods. Burrowing parrots know how to squeeze the most out of a hostile environment, and so can live in semi-desert regions where they consume seeds and small fruit. Such places give them a great advantage. Here, they have hardly any competitors. At this time of year, summer in the southern hemisphere, they're in heat and tensions are high. Confrontation is more frequent than usual. Yet despite the occasional friction, these desert dwellers always live in social groups. And by extension, breed within the community. Burrowing parrots look for ravines and banks of earth where they dig out a great city of caves with their beaks. Each pair of parrots excavates its own burrow, very close to that of its neighbors, and together they engage in a kind of neighborhood watch over their homes. There are few places to hide in the desert. There are no trees or hospitably hollow logs where you can build a nest, and there is nowhere to hide from the relentless sun. Or is there? The modus operandi of the burrowing parrots is more or less repeated in numerous other species. The inhabitants of Atacama really only have one way to escape from the heat and from predators. In the desert, everything seems to happen in plain sight. Security and privacy can only be found in the darkness of an underground den. In a tiny ravine, in the abandoned burrow of a tawny tuco-tuco, a colony of Copolicana bees shares certain characteristics with the burrowing parrots. The Copolicana bees have hairy, colorful bodies and constantly buzz around their tiny colony. These bees live together, but not haphazardly. Each has its own subterranean niche, which it must dig for itself. A large portion of the day is spent preparing the ground and staying inside, where the females prepare the nest for the generation to come. The female bees work tirelessly, removing a huge amount of earth in relation to their size. Activity in the colony only pauses during the hottest hours of the day. The males, paler and grayer in color, ceaselessly fly around the holes. They seem to be prowling, and indeed they are. They are on the lookout for a female. There are far fewer females, and so they are in demand. Should one dare to leave her cell, several males will pounce, eager to reproduce. Less an act of love, more a battlefield in which more and more ardent contenders join in the combat. The female is a fleeting prize for which rivals will fight to the death. Some challengers, exhausted from their efforts, die under the blazing Atacama sun. In another corner of this particular hell that is the Atacama Desert, other cave dwellers make their homes. The only place to hide and cool down is underground, but common degu frequently venture out into the open. These small rodents excavate their galleries near desert thickets. When they venture outside, the brush provides both food and protection. Degu are insatiable. Their priority when eating is quantity over quality, and they gnaw away at all kinds of vegetables at high speed. But fruit is their favorite feast. Above their heads, seeds of the Roman cassie ripen. Each time one falls to the ground, a degu pounces. Sometimes it's better to enjoy a delicious delicacy in the cool of the shade underground, out of sight of hunters. In a drier, sparser territory that looks like a minefield, another ground-dwelling rodent peeks out. At dusk, when the same sun that scorches everything loses some of its intensity, Koruro appear. Koruro are hyperactive animals that emerge from their dark galleries late in the afternoon to enjoy a dose of gentle, nutritious sun. It's time for a rest. And to enjoy the air and light of the desert for a while. They've spent all day digging for bulbs and roots which they extract and eat with their giant incisors. Break time is over. Before the sun sets completely, there are certain household chores to finish. Renovating the entrance, looking for another tasty tuber, making a chamber a little deeper to sleep in. Night soon comes. In the rocky Atacama territories, even in the remotest, loneliest places, chinchillas can still be seen. Short-tailed chinchillas are elusive rodents that were driven almost to extinction for their highly sought-after fur. These fluffy rodents move in the dark in search of the tough vegetation of the desert. Their coats are a formidable defense against the cold desert nights. And after eating, nothing is better than a nice, relaxing sand bath. Chinchilla's fur is the thickest of all mammals, with 20,000 individual hairs per square centimeter. There is no better coat than that. To keep their fur smooth, glossy, and cold-proof, they bathe every night in sand. This way it stays clean, fluffy, and free of tangles. Only if they are kept in good condition is the effectiveness of the chinchilla's coats maintained. In Atacama's high inland areas, cold is a constant. Low-lying regions have a slightly less punishing climate, both wetter and warmer. Clouds arriving from the sea caress peaks and ridges, leaving a dewy residue. This gift enables cacti and shrubs to flower and other plants to sprout, even if they survive just a few days. The oasis hummingbird of Atacama takes full advantage of each new flower. Sucking up the nectar of the cacti in the knowledge that the delicacy will soon fade away. Yet despite this brevity, these are moments of maximum abundance in Atacama. The giant hummingbird will now act quickly in order to reproduce. It has installed its nest on top of an impregnable tower, a spiny cactus. From this protected vantage point, the female, who can barely fit in the nest, watches calmly and keeps her tiny eggs warm. The giant hummingbird is the largest hummingbird species, exceeding 20 centimeters in length. Being so large means that its metabolism is slower than that of other hummingbirds, and so it only flaps its wings a mere 10 times per second. This warmer, lower-lying territory, where cacti and thorny bushes abound, is not the exclusive honey garden of the giant hummingbird. In fact, another giant also lives here. Another camel, to be precise. Near the sea, cacti and bushes form part of a dry, desolate landscape. This is the home to the guanaco, a true expert in surviving in the imperious wilderness approaching the coast. There are areas of Atacama where it has not rained in 4 years. But guanacos seek out the most benign environments, and what's more, they take care of their desert. Their hooves are soft enough not to damage the ground and vegetation they walk on. And when it's time to eat, they also act with care. They consume tough and thorny plants, but as they are continuously on the move, they never overexploit the vegetation in one area, and it has time to recover. The balance between desert and guanaco is optimal, but that does not stop life being hard enough to mean the death of some individuals. However, their death is good news for the culpeo, or Andean fox. This fox species visits the coast and its surrounding areas in search of food. The Andean fox is a widespread predator in the desert. It is capable of hunting baby guanaco, but this is a tiring way of getting a meal. What's more, the kick of a protective mother guanaco would easily leave the fox out of action. So for now, a few insects will have to do. As a good opportunist, the fox knows that the pungent odor of a cadaver might mean a chance of filling its stomach. Several foxes have had the same idea and have gathered around the guanaco's body. The dead guanaco has been feeding them for several days, and the meat is disappearing as fast as it is drying out. The last scraps of the corpse lead to a conflict of power and hierarchy. It is resolved, as is usual in nature, in favor of the strongest. There must be some degree of order at the dinner table, and it is the leader's job to enforce it. After the meal and the settling of accounts, there is nothing better than a siesta in the shade. Add a little fresh air, the sea breeze ruffling the fox's fur, and it is an almost idyllic scene. Not far away is the beginning of everything, the cold waters of the ocean, the desert's eternal companion that blows fresh air over the sleeping foxes. Supported by that same wind, turkey vultures soar and climb above the waves that crash against the parched extremity of the desert. The vultures have found another cadaver. Another victim of the struggle for power, status, and the urge to reproduce. It's a large male sea lion who lost his battle against his rivals and the waves. His broken body was unceremoniously dumped on the rocks by the waves. Now, it's a gift for the vultures. Down in the surf, life goes on as if nothing has happened. Young sea lions as ever, testing each other out. They charge, they bite, they bellow and they fight to protect their harems. The aggression of the male sea lions grows daily, and with it, tension in the colony. Nevertheless, it goes about its daily life, balanced between the parched desert on one side and the abundance of the ocean on the other, between two worlds that are as diametrically opposed as they are complementary. From the peaks of the Andes down to the coast, Atacama is a place of contrasting landscapes, of deserts of different colors, of different textures, inhabited by a variety of battle-hardened creatures, each one eking out a life in its own particular desert world.